Hello, my name is Peter Parfitt. Welcome to the new Brit workshop. Not so long ago, I started asking questions about where I could get T-track, which allowed me to use these Festool clamps in sort of custom layouts on benches that I might be making. And the way T-track would work is that a clamp would go into a channel, like so, and this channel would be flush with the top of your bench or whatever, and then you can use the clamp holding whatever piece of wood down in place. Anyway, so I posed a few questions and somebody got in touch with me and said, we have some T-track which should meet your requirements. And after that short introduction, you'll wonder why I'm showing you this. This is an Incra precision rule. And I've wanted one of these for a very long time. When I first saw them, it appeared you could only buy them with calibrations in inches. But this one is calibrated entirely metric, and it's available in this country. And the person who contacted me to tell me about the T-track for these clamps made by Festool said to me, well, we sell these, and so I bought one. And I'm just going to give you a quick rundown on this before I go back to the main part of the story. Now, this rule consists of a piece of relatively thin stainless steel, which is attached to an aluminium end here with two thumb screws. And the idea of the thumb screws is that you can position this to the top or the bottom, whichever you wish, and also you can use this for slight adjustments to get this absolutely square. Now, the stainless steel rule element is, in my case, calibrated in millimeters, and at every millimeter point along the rule there is a small 0.5 millimeter hole. And the way this works is quite simple. If you've got the edge from which you want to do your measurements, you put the precision rule up against that edge, and then you look for a hole that corresponds to the exact distance from that edge that you want to put a mark. And using your pencil with the 0.5 millimeter lead, you put it through the hole and then make a mark. And there's the mark there. Alternatively, you can put the pencil through the hole and then scribe a line at the desired distance away from that edge. And there's all sorts of extra fine calibrations on here. You'll see there's a row of 4 sets of holes here, or those go up in 1/4 millimeter increments. And over here there are holes which are offset by 1/2 millimeter increments. And the whole thing is a beautifully precise piece of workshop equipment. I'm really pleased I've got it. I've used it quite a bit during the construction of the desk that I'm making at the moment. Now, there are a couple of things to bear in mind with this precision rule. The very first thing is that there are dozens and dozens of holes along the length of this piece of relatively thin stainless steel, so it's a little bit floppy. And you do have to make sure it's protected and used carefully in the workshop. Now, I'm quite happy with that. I realized when I saw the thing described that it was going to be like this because of all those holes, so this is what I was expecting. Now, when you buy it, do not assume that it is at right angles to its edge piece here. And you do need to check this at an early stage. And all you do is you loosen off these 2 thumb wheels here, get it adjusted and tighten up, and then you're fine to go. Now, in UK, one of these costs just about £20, and this is the 300 millimeter version. They do smaller ones than this as well. Right, we're back to the T-track now. Now, this is my Capex Workstation, and one of the things that I have in mind to do is to produce a new one of these, which is a little bit smaller and really does suit my relatively small workshop and my mobile workshop concept. Anyway, built into the Capex are these channels here, which you can slide one of these Festool clamps to hold a piece of wood in place when you're cutting. So with my new workbench for the Capex, I want to have plenty of little sort of T-track options so that I can hold down wood in various places. But not only that, I want to improve on this Heath Robinson saw stop arrangement that I've got here, whereby I set this stop here, tighten up and push my wood up against it and then make a cut. Well, I've got no measuring capability. I'd like to introduce that. So there's a lot of things going on with the new Capex Workstation, which hopefully I'll be making later this year. Right, now the track itself. This track was sent to me by the Woodworkers workshop. More about them in a little minute. And here you can see that is how it works with the Festool lever clamp, and in fact all of the Festool clamps which are similar to this. And you sink this into your worktop so that this top face here is flush with the top of your worktop. There are holes in the bottom so that it can be screwed in place. They supply the screws as part of the kit, and it's made by Incra. Now I've often looked longingly across the Atlantic Ocean at all the various bits and pieces that are available in North America, and Incra is one of those systems or companies that I've always been interested in. And what's interesting for me with the Capex Workstation, which I was telling you about, is that they also do one which has a tape measure built into it. It's a wider track this time, and there are two places that one can use a clamp or any other device that will slide in here, one on the front and one also on the back. And again, it's got screw holes so it can be fixed in place. And when I do the design of my new Capex Workstation, I'm going to endeavour to build this into that design concept. And the track comes in varying lengths, so you can buy just as much as you need. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. I mentioned the name, the Woodworkers Workshop. Well, I received a phone call not long after I placed my order for the Incra precision rule, and it was from a chap called Peter Sefton. Now, the woodworkers in the United Kingdom will know his name, if not know what he looks like as well, because Peter Sefton is a really well-known woodworker. He trained with John Makepeace. He's done work for Viscount Linley and various other places. He's a liveryman of the Worshipful company of furniture makers, and he's a well-established, well-known writer and teacher of woodwork. Anyway, he spoke to me, and it's a bit like a pop star ringing you up at home and saying, "Hello, Peter, it's me." And so I was a little bit taken aback, and we had a long chat, and I didn't realise that the Woodworkers Workshop is his. And what he's done, he's created his woodworking school here in the UK, and he has this little shop which has an online presence which sells only those tools that he uses in his workshop, which his students get to see and like, and which he absolutely recommends. And in that context, he sort of reminded me of myself in a sense that I only show videos of kit that I'm prepared to recommend to my very best friend, and that's what he's like. Anyway, so following that conversation, he sent me a few things to illustrate the quality of the sort of kit that he's selling. And I thought it not unreasonable for me to just show you one or two of them and to let you know that the Woodworkers Workshop has got Peter Sefton's name behind it. Now, I'm sure that many of you will remember my workshop dust study, and the real serious culprit for me for dust creation in the workshop was hand sanding. And it was the figures I produced for hand sanding were way and above those for any other sanding process or any other tool in my workshop. And Peter Sefton had seen that video of mine, and he sent this to me. He said, "I've got the solution to your hand sanding nightmare." and it's made by a company called Incra, and it's a sanding block which has got the sticky velcro-y stuff to put these little sanding sheets on. The sanding sheets have got loads of small holes through them, and through this sanding pad there is an air passage, and all you do is you connect a hose to the end here, and you can get a purpose-built hose with this, and then turn your extractor on and start sanding. And I can assure you that that whole process is completely dust-free as far as I'm concerned, and I am actually doing some serious work there. And you can get these sanding sheets. They're sold under the name of Abranet, but it's still made by the same company called Incra, and you can put different grade sheets on here, and away you go. Now I rather like this because I've got a bee in my bonnet about dust in the workshop. That's why I made that video about it, and so this really does tie in very nicely with all of that. And there's another thing that coincides with one of my videos. You'll recall the video I made about sharpening using lapping techniques, using this brilliant honing guide, which I got from Lee Valley. It's made under the Veritas name. Absolutely super bit of kit. And the Woodworkers Workshop sell all of the lapping films that are needed to do this. And so it's brilliant to know there is a source here in Europe where you can get all that sort of thing fairly easily. They also sell this honing oil or honing fluid, which is perfect for this type of thing, and also if you're using stones rather than films for your lapping. I also discovered when I looked at the internet that the Woodworkers Workshop do actually stock Veritas products, and they do the honing guide, and they do a variety of the Veritas planes. Now, let me just tell you, if you're going to get just one wonderful super plane in your life, you have to get this Veritas low angle jack plane. It is absolutely stunning. I use it all the time and I absolutely love it. It's quite expensive, but you pay for what you get. It's beautifully made and a lovely, lovely tool to use. I've got a bee in my bonnet about the squares that woodworkers use, and of the dozen that I think I probably own, I've only got 2 which come anywhere near the accuracy that I need for cabinet making. And that's why most of the time I prefer to use my engineer's square. I've had this for donkey's years. It's seen a little bit of action. It's a bit rusty here and there, but it is absolutely superbly accurate. And I thought I'd just let you know that, again, the Woodworkers Workshop, because they are cabinet makers, that's what they recommend. And they have a whole variety of these engineer squares. I really recommend, if you're going to do any serious woodwork, that you use an engineer's square, because they are absolutely foolproof. You always get a perfect, honest answer from one of these. And this one's made by Fisher, which is one of the better companies for this type of tool, and it conforms to all of the standards that you would expect, and it is really, really accurate. So if you're serious about your woodwork, get an engineer's square. Now, I'm really glad I found out about the Woodworkers Workshop, and I really like the fact that so many things that they are passionate about, I'm passionate about as well. So that's really good. And I like what they say on the website. It's run by woodworkers for woodworkers, and I think that's really good. Fingers crossed, I might get to meet Peter Sefton one day, and if I do, I'll certainly let you know all about it. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.